Can I go ahead?
Yes, I believe you can start. Yeah.
Okay. When I left secondary school, high school, I had the interest to go to become a priest. I had to attend the senior seminary in Bambui, but my old man wouldn't allow me. He would not sign my novitiate form. He said over his dead body would his only son become a priest. I was not happy. I left, I went to the monastery. While in the monastery, they would still need my old man to sign my novitiate form. There was no way. I wanted to become a priest. There was no way. I had that passion. So I left the monastery 2 years later and went to St. John of God Hospital, where I was working as a hospitaler brother. While in St. John of God Hospital, I found out that I had passion for children, a great passion for children. But yet, my old man would not sign my novitiate form. So I had to run to Nigeria. While I was on my way to Nigeria at the borders, I was caught that I was a spy. And when they hijacked me and took me to their office, they searched me and they found out that I was not a spy. And one captain, a lady captain, invited me to her house. So when I went, she interviewed me, and found out I was a nice somebody. So I stayed with her for some time. While I was with her, I used to go around and visit the neighborhood. When I go to town, I found out that there were too many children who were not going to schools. They were selling ice cream, selling ice water, selling the petty things because of the war. There had been a war they called the Biafran Nigerian War. Most of their parents were all amputated. Some were lame. Some had no parents. So it worried me in my mind. I had to come back and I told Madam, I said, Madam, can you let me use your garage where I could gather some of these children and try to see if what I can help to give them a part of to read, to be able to read and write. But I said, no problem. So she gave me her garage. I went out. I assembled a few of these children, talked to them. We started studying. Guess what? Before long, I found out that Madam was very interested. And there were other supporters who supported me. And it went into a full-fledged school. And the children could study. Madam said, okay, he has seen something in me that I love children. She would like me to go to Oro Education College. So she sent me to Oro, the School of Education in Oro. I went there. So when I left, I found out that I had a job at the international school. I was teaching at the international school. Then there was one lady, Madam Alalade. She came and visited Madam Singh. And as she said, she was craving for somebody who could help her start off a school. Madam said I was the best choice. So she asked me if I could join Madam Alalade too. I said, Madam, but to starting a new school when I'm already, he said, no, you have that blessing. I said, okay, Madam, I have no choice. Hello, are you getting me, Ed?
Yes, we can hear you 100%. Carry on.
Okay. So Madam Alalade took me to another place to suffer. He gave me, the building was a building that had been built in 1920 something, a dilapidated building, bushy. I looked at it and said, well, if God wants me to help the children, there's nothing I could do. I took my brush and paint. I painted 2 rooms. It was just 2 rooms. I painted it, took my cutlass and my lance, started clearing. Madam Alalade, she was the wife of a lawyer. They had their money. She bought a bus. I took this bus, I went to Bodija. I printed a form, admission form, and I went from house to house and admitted few children. They were just 20 in number. We started the following year. Guess what? The next year, I found out that we were almost getting to 400. Nigeria is populated. She started building. Before I left Nigeria, she had almost 2,000.
Wow.
Then I said, no, but let me come back home and do something. My sister said no. My sister was in America. He said, Charles, I want you to come and meet me in America. I don't want you to be suffering there in Africa. I said, sister, you know what? I said, I have nothing doing in America. I don't see anything that I'll come and do in America. I have passion for the children. I would love to handle children here because you're giving me some peace and joy. So when I came back to Cameroon, there was no job. I said, okay, the only thing to do is to start one. My sister said, you know what? I said, no. He said, please come. I said, madam, sister, I'm not coming. So I started attending the full gospel mission, the church. As I was attending, I started gathering children, doing some classes. Reverend Knorr looked at me. I said, wow, this young man, I would like you to come to school, join the Bible school. I said, Reverend, no problem. I went to the Bible school. Hello? Hello, Ed?
Yes. Yes, I can hear you.
Me? Okay.
Yes.
So I went to the Bible school and said, I love missionary too. When I went to the Bible school, John Treyer was our teacher. We were in school, but in a short while, I was using, we had opened a school in the church yard, but it was my school because I opened it. I was using the church yard, the full gospel mission environment. So they had to send me to Mbanga to start another church in Mbanga. So I will have to leave the children, and that will be all about it. I went to Mbanga, started the church, but I was not in peace. I said, no, but I cannot leave those children. Those children give me joy. I had to resign pastorship and came back to meet my children. But they will not allow me, since I was no longer under the mission, they wouldn't allow me function. So I had to leave. I went to Santa and started one. But unfortunately, it was a period where we call Ghost Town in 1990. And if you watch it today, the full gospel was refusing that I should not start school, that their mission was Christianity, or what. They have too many schools now taking the vision from me. So at least I gave them the idea to start schools. They have schools now all over Cameroon. So when I left, I went to Santa, I started one. Ghost Town, there was no school, there was problem, this and that. I asked myself, I said, but I would have been in America. I would have been enjoying myself in America. But look at the trouble now. So when I left, I came to Kumba. While in Kumba, I had to start off. When I started in Kumba, to give me the authorization to, the temptation there was so high. The authorization, people will fight me that, hey, this young man is coming from where? I started with 20 children again that first year. Only about 5 children could pay a small amount of 25,000 francs as fee. It did not derail me. The rest couldn't pay fees because they were buy and sell them. Petty traders, no problem. I started off. Before I realized, in 2 years' time, I had 100 and something. In 3 years' time, I had 300 and something. The thing had boomed. Then, unfortunately, for some years later, Cameroon started fighting. There was war in this area. Crisis, there was no school. I said, what do I do? We stayed for 4 years, no school. But I said, I have passion for children. These children cannot stay at home. Those boys will go around and cash proprietors. They go and lock them up, close schools, burn schools. I said, okay, if that's the case, there's nothing I can do. I will still help these children. I had to go to my house. I opened a room there and started taking some of these children. So what I had to do was to be in good terms with those boys, not to come and burn my school, and also to hijack me into the bush. I started training some of these children. Then luckily this year, I started full-fledged. I went back to school, opened the school. The children were coming few. But later on, I discovered that most of them, their parents were dead. I could not allow those orphans. I had to take the orphans. Many orphans now started coming. Those who were in the bushes, those IDPs, those who were hiding in the bushes, they ran and came to town. Then before I discovered, the school was populated. That's how, but I find joy with those children. Nothing is derailing me to leave those children. Because those who are with me, most of them have no parents. And I think that is a calling that God was preparing me to do. And I think I will continue it till I die. Thank you, Ed. Bye. That's my story.
Wow.
Very powerful story.
What a story.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Thank you so much. You know, if we were to end this session right now, I think everyone on the call would agree that that kind of, passion, that IKIGAI that came out from that speech, because that's really what it was, keep us going for a long time. So thank you so much, Charles, for volunteering to really share your story. And I think that's so important, guys. It's so important for us to be able to appeal to people's hearts and as well as their minds when it comes to soliciting funding to take that kind of passion, to take that kind of vision across the country, not just in the locality where you are looking to impact change, but more importantly, to try and find ways to expand that beyond that community. And Charles, you've got that passion. You've shown that you've come a long way. Nothing will derail you. Not even war will stop
Not at
you.
all. Not at all, Ed. Not at all.
And that is, that's unstoppable. That's the kind of story that backers would like to hear. That is what is driving you. It's beyond personal gain. It explains why you can go beyond all kinds of personal sacrifices just to make a change in the kids' lives. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah, Ed, can I make a comment, please?
Please, Henry, go ahead.
So, Brother Tita, thank you very much for sharing your story. It was very heartfelt, very inspiring. And it's interesting, this morning I was thinking of a phrase, nothing, no army can stop an ideal whose time has come. And you may recognize the person who said that. But here's the thing. So my task here with Amra Finance, one of them is marketing, and another one is helping to bring on backers. So your story, brother, has inspired me to figure out a way to capture your story in a how should I put it? In a professional way and have on our site, because I could probably tell something to the extent you said, but nobody's going to be able to tell that story like you. And I can assure you it's going to connect with, it's connected with me. And I shared with some individuals briefly on a call yesterday that I myself invest to a small degree in certain impact campaigns, not just in Africa, but in other places. So I know there are others like myself. And so, Brother Charles, I'm looking forward to sharing your story with others. And I encourage you to, and I know we're going to be a part of, that's what, like Ed said, that's this whole incubator thing. We're going to be helping to shape that, to put it together in a way that it resonates globally. And I assure you that the funding you're looking for will come. I feel it. I feel it. You were born for this.
Thank you, Henry. I'll die for it, Henry.
Yeah, thank you, brother, for being who you are. That's it, Ed. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Henry. That is really, really encouraging. And guys, this is exactly what Hangouts are all about. Encourage one another, share experiences, motivate one another, give us that IKIGAI. What is it that keeps you awake at night, trying to make sure that you be the change that Africa needs? Who wants to go next? I see Dr. Bain has come on. Doreen, do you want to be able to share your story?
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Greetings to everyone in the house. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'm sorry I'm coming late. It's not of my making. I was not here from the beginning, but I'm just going to say something little. What has motivated me or inspired me? First of all, coming from a background, from a humble background where I grew up seeing the challenges my parents were going through to educate me, to send me to school. It wasn't really easy. I was never opportune to go to the best schools or the schools that are, let's say for the first class or middle class. I was never opportune, but I kept meandering my way through until I managed to have a doctorate degree. And I remember periods where back in my days in the University of Boya, I was living from home to school, and there were days I did not have simple transportation fare. but we kept pushing, and I kept understanding the challenges my parents were going through. Growing like that, seeing friends, neighbors, and a whole lot of people I came across, and looking at the rate of poverty in Cameroon in particular, and my community from where I'm coming from. And in addition to that, I grew up in a community where we have a lot of young girls who give birth out of wedlock, like teen mothers. So most parents don't take this. And it always comes like a disgrace to the family. And once that happens to you, your parents feel like you have given them a big blow on their face. In most cases, you are rejected from home. You are sent away from home. Back here, it's not only a teenager that can be sent out. There are some cases where up to 25 years, your parents will not find it funny because it's a disgrace. And so you are sent packing. At times, even the community rejects you. And when that happens to you, even your friends mock at you. And you are like very ashamed to even face the community. And to me, growing up and seeing this was not the best. And these girls who were sent out, in most cases, they find themselves, maybe if they are not careful, most of them became prostitutes, whereby they acquire some of these sexually transmitted infections, and they can suffer and die. Some of them go as far as giving birth to additional street children, and these children become more frustrated. Looking at this situation, I kept pondering what I can do to remedy the situation, but there was one thing in mind. It took me time to start, but that thing kept lingering in my mind, that in Africa, one of the areas people are rejecting is social entrepreneurship. And so it's possible to encourage some of these girls into social entrepreneurship. Social entrepreneurship is possible because both the educated and the educated class can easily indulge in it. So that was when I started off first by carrying out advocacies through an organization and registered known as Tina Life Organization. We started up with advocacies on the rights of this vulnerable group, that is the um, teen mother, single mother, other vulnerable girls and children, because you cannot be preaching about mothers, you don't take care of the children. Where are the kids? So we started with advocacies, we kept advancing, we thought it necessary to start organizing face-to-face workshops and sessions, online advocacies, TV talk shows and radio talk shows program. And then we went as far as started empowering them, maybe into the production of detergents, cosmetics, but because of limited funds, you empower them, but you cannot give them startups. So at the end of the day, it doesn't have a real impact. We went further again. We thought it necessary that because when I started, I gathered a few people. So we said, since we need to empower them, let's start up something like a vocational training center where they can have life skills, because some of the skills we give them, you just take about 2 days, 3 days to train. At times it's not very effective. Why not train in a way that somebody will comprehend? So we continued, and then we started off with the vocational training center, whereby with very few machines, is it I think four sewing machines, zigzag machines, few materials. We started off now with the tailoring, and then we are doing bead designs, and then we are training in crocheting. There is these female dresses, they crochet with the hand, and the hair fascinators and party fans, taking into consideration that a lot of people don't feel as going to the party without the hair fascinators, and also coming from a community where the embroidery traditional wear known as togo is very popular and is worn by almost everybody. We said, let's engage into that. So, so far, so good. That is what motivated us. But the challenge we are facing, because since a lot of people are showing interest, we are facing challenge. First, all these things I named are in a single room. It's already a weakness. And then the location, as somebody working with the vulnerable, the location does not encourage most persons with disabilities to be part of it, because it is in an upstairs building, and it's because we were unable to get the right location, because whatever we do, we mainstream or we ensure that there is inclusiveness. And then we don't have even the funds, because when you don't start something effectively, for it to be balanced, it becomes a challenge. When it's like month end coming, you start wondering that since this thing is not really functional, you are instead struggling to see that it stands. How are you going to pay your bills, and so on and so forth? So all these things motivated me, as have been discussed, to come up with something that will empower. I believe that it is not necessary to give somebody fish to eat, rather, you teach the person how to fish. So our most essential thing is economic empowerment for women, and it is also our wish to expand these skills and get into some of these cosmetic products. The advantage of it first is that some of us have the skills where we just need a little bit of training to build on. We need to expand into the hairdressing section. We need to expand into manicure and pedicure and a host of other things. Basically, that's all what I have to say for now.
Ed, you're on mute.
Yes, I'm done.
No, Ed, I think Ed's trying to say something. He's muted. Go ahead.
Oh, yes, I just realized I was on mute. I was saying, Doreen, thank you so much. I really appreciate this. You know, I only spoke to you about 3 hours ago, and I did ask you to come on the call and just explain your IKIGAI. And thank you so much for putting that together so succinctly. It's really inspiring what you're doing. And we look forward to really supporting you to ensure that you raise the funding that's required to deliver on that, that mandate. I don't know, JP, do you have a comment?
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Hi, Ed. Well, I think it's just been wonderful to listen to Doreen and Charles. Their stories are quite touching, first and foremost, and indeed, one could really feel the ikigai, because it's not just about the impact one is trying to create, but it's about its relationship basically to one's, you know, if I may use the term soul, you know, it's something that you feel personally connected to, that you, to an extent, you can't explain. It just almost seems like destiny is pushing you towards doing something. And in very many instances, it's with hindsight that you are able to tell. When you look back and you say to yourself, oh my God, wow, see what journey I've been through. And it just seems like everything had been lining up to set me onto my ikigai. I think if we listen to more creators, we'll come to the same conclusion. And I think that's really the reason there for Amra Finance, you know. I, for one, you know, started off my career in a very, very aggressive profit-making environment, in a dog-eat-dog environment, you know, and you know, the motivation there was to make money. You know, everyone was very aggressive. a lot of unhealthy competition. But there was only one reason for that. People wanted to get career progression, wanted to sell more. You know, as a business, we had to show year-on-year growth in terms of sales, profits. You know, everything was about the bottom line, you know. And I just began to realize that some way, somehow, I needed to, I thought I needed to do more than that. You know, it was great to make money, but what about the impact I was leaving behind? You know, and for those who've been very consistent with our weekly hangout, you remember that in one of our presentations, we talked about the triple bottom line. For me, the triple bottom line is one of the ways where you can really see how people's IKIGAI come to play, because IKIGAI has never really been about making money. It's really about doing what you love to do, doing what you know how to do, you know, doing what the world needs. And hopefully you get some reward from doing that. You know, in a lot of cases, people are willing to pay for it, you know. So when you look at the triple bottom line, you realize that it's more than just profit. One of the P's of the triple bottom line is profit. It's about the planet and it's about people, which is what AMRA Finance stands for. It's about campaigns that will improve on the planet. You know, we now talk about climate change, and it's becoming more and more imminent that if we don't do anything about it, we're going to have a desert in this part of the country where I'm in a few scores of years. We have